Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Dennis DePra. I'm a volunteer at the Alaska Veterans Museum here in Anchorage, Alaska. And one of the projects I have at the museum is to get published or put out on different platforms along the internet some of the oral histories that we've conducted over the years for the Alaska Veterans Museum. The one I'm introducing today is an interview of William Roy Dover by Sue Ellen Novak, Sue Ellen Wright Novak. She's a former director. She's a historian at our museum, um, and this gentleman, William Roy Dover, was a veteran of the Battle of Attu in World War II in the Pacific. William is from rural Tennessee. He was drafted in 1942 and eventually assigned went to training and was assigned as an engineer, assigned to the 50th Engineer Regiment, F Company, which would be their second battalion. He served at the Battle of Attu. The Battle of Attu occurred from 11 May to 29 May 1943 at the island of Attu. Attu is located in the far western Aleutian Islands. It's the farthest westernmost point of the United States. This battle was one of the most remotest battles in the world that ever occurred. The island of Attu and Kiska in the Western Aleutians were seized by the Japanese in June of 1942 as part of their Midway operation. And then from then till May and August, and for Kiska's in 43, in Kiska's instance, the U.S., with support from some Canadian units, was tasked to eject them. Um, William uh, served at the Battle of Attu. He was at the engagement at Engineer Hill that stopped the Banzai Charge on 29 May. The climatic end of the battle occurred on 29 May when a Banzai Charge of what was left of the garrison, the Japanese garrison, attacked the American lines. It pierced a small perimeter, one portion of an infantry company, and poured into the rear areas, bayoneting and attacking aid stations and casualty collection points. They were stopped um, by islands of firepower of other infantry companies, but also at the very end by the 50th Engineers, especially their 2nd Battalion. They'd been building a road up through Clevisy Pass, and they were woken by the noise and established a hasty defense, and they actually more or less broke the back of this Banzai attack. Was led by the Banzai attack was led by a man named Colonel Yamakaze, and at the end of the battle of 27, it was believed the Japanese had 2,500 to 2,700 personnel. Only 28 were taken prisoner. 500 plus Americans were killed in action during the battle, but way more were not only wounded but injured from cold weather injuries due to poor clothing that was issued to them, inadequate clothing and equipment. I will try to put up different pictures of different items as William speaks to give you some reference, to include some maps, some pictures of some footgear, and maybe some pictures of Aleut vessels that he encountered uh, after the battle. Um, just a warning: he does use language that was current at the time. He refers to the Japanese as Japs. That was very common back then. A lot of people find that offensive now. Um, uh, but he fought there, and he watched two of his friends bayoneted to death by the Japanese. Uh, if He also discussed there's some elements that he discussed, and we have some of this stuff on display at the museum, to include an Arisaka rifle with Japanese bayonet, some Japanese anti-tank guns and Japanese equipment, and stuff seized from the Japanese on the Battle of Attu, including stuff from the post office. So I hope you enjoy the interview, and have a nice day.
Today is Friday, the 18th of May, 2018, and we are in the Anchorage, Alaska hotel room of William Roy Dover, who was a T5 in World War II, 50th Combat Engineers Company F of the 7th Infantry Division, and he was an Attu survivor on Engineer Hill. The cameraman and interviewer is Sue Ellen Wright Novak. Roy, you ready to begin?
Let her rip.
Let her rip. Okay, sir. When and where were you born, sir?
I was born in Lawrence County, Tennessee, little town of Loretta, in 1922, November the 7th.
Okay. And you grew up in the country then?
In the country most all my life.
Okay. So you were an outdoorsman, you were a sportsman?
Well, I was an outdoorsman, all right, but not too much sportsman. I was a farmer most of my life, and I don't think you consider that a sport.
Well, it's a sport of a different type.
Yeah.
That's true. Any childhood memories you want to share with us?
Well, my mother died when I was about 5 years old, and I don't have much memories of my mother.
Mm-hmm.
And my dad married again in 1927, I believe. So I had a stepmother that was good to me, raised me, helped raise me. And I had one brother, one sister, one brother younger than I, and one sister older than I. The sister has passed away, and my younger brother he's 92 or 3. Let's see, he was born in 25. And he's still living, and he went through the European theater in World War II. And my memories for when I was real young, I don't have much.
Okay. What'd your father do? Was he a farmer too?
He was a farmer all of his life.
Nothing wrong with that. That's the backbone of America.
Yeah, somebody got to eat. Somebody got to raise it.
Funny thing about that, we don't pay enough tribute to our farmers. Okay, tell me about your school life.
Well, my school life, I dropped out of school in 10th grade, and I never finished high school till I came back out of service, and I did finish high school at the age of 24 or 5, and through the GI Bill, they paid us a little dividend
So you
for
did use it, huh?
going to school.
Okay. So did you enlist or were you drafted?
I was drafted. At the time I was drafted, the minimum age that they could draft you was 20 years old. So I got my questionnaire for the Army on my birthday when I was 20 years old. And then it wasn't but a week or two till I was drafted. And I took my basic training, my basic interview for the Army at Fort McClellan, Alabama. And then I was sent to Fort McPherson, Georgia, where I received my Army supplies, uniform and everything.
All right, so you went to Fort McClellan, then you went to where? Fort McPherson?
Fort McPherson, which is just out of Atlanta.
Okay.
And from there,
Now wait a minute. Do you have any unusual memories of basic training, or how did you find it? Was it easy for you?
Well, it wasn't too rough, because I guess you say I was sort of a tough nut from growing up on a farm.
Yeah, you'd probably find that pretty easy.
Yeah.
Physical training was easy. Did you ever keep in touch with any of those guys from basic?
No, I used to. Some of it was from my area. One was Doc Alexander, lived down in Double Springs, Alabama. Him and I were pup tent buddies all the time. we went through everything together. And also another one was Herbert Clark that lived in Jasper, Alabama. I used to keep in touch with him. They're both deceased. And that's only, well, one more, Marvin Williams from Cullman, Alabama. I used to visit him some, but that's about all of physical contact buddies that I ever had after I was discharged.
Okay, so do you remember about what year it was when you went to Fort McPherson?
Oh, that would have been 1940. Let's see, I was inducted in the Army on the 20th, so it would have been about a week later or something, I guess.
Okay, so probably 1942. Okay. How long was your basic? Was it the standard 8 weeks, or was it shorter because of the needs of the war?
It was, I think we probably got 8 weeks. Okay. And
then where'd they ship you next?
From Fort McPherson, I took my basic training at Fort Ord, California. We rode a troop train from Fort McPherson to Fort Ord, California, and that's where I took my basic training.
Okay, so that was your basic infantry training, or no?
Well, it's my...
Since you were an engineer.
Engineer training is sort of like infantry, only you get a little engineer training in with it.
And that was at Fort Ord?
At Fort Ord, California.
Okay. And about how long was that?
Well, we shipped out from there to San Francisco for our deployment in April sometime. I don't remember the date.
April 1943, okay.
Yeah. And
then you went straight to Attu?
yeah, I don't know whether you could call it straight or not, because we zigzagged out in the ocean about seemed like a month. It was so, of course, we finally landed on Attu, the convoy did, on the 10th of May, 1943.
Okay.
And my outfit did not embark until the 12th of May, 1943.
Okay, so you probably, when you came out of San Francisco, you probably went to Cold Bay first, Adak first?
I can't remember. I know we hit the Aleutians either at Cold Bay or Dutch Harbor, and I can't remember which one it was.
I would think probably Cold Bay.
I think it sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
But that was just, I guess, for a refueling shop.
Right. And then you said you actually landed on Attu on the...
The infantry landed on the 10th, but our outfit did not go ashore till the 12th of May.
What was the weather like out there?
Miserable. If you're on Attu, you get any kind of weather you can think of. It might be sun shining this minute and snow in the next.
Mm-hmm.
Fog, that's the worstest place I think in the world for fog.
Okay, when you were on board ship coming up to Cold Bay, were they chopping ice off the rigging of the ship and the railings of the ship and all the rest of that?
No, not that I recall. I guess.
Yeah, they'd have had the sailors serving you, see?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was seasick just about the whole voyage.
Yeah.
I remember one incident, I was having to stand guard. I don't know why you stand guard on a troop ship. But anyway, I was sick, and I saw a little coffee can hanging on the wire there. I grabbed that and heaved in it, and these a sailor came by. Can't you beat that sailor, a soldier? I would if I could.
That's right, but. So you did have shipboard duties of standing guard.
Yeah, I think.
Nothing else.
No, that's about it.
Did they give you any training when you were on that transport ship, or any terrain? Did they show you the maps?
No, not that I recall. In fact, Bennett, we was out a good ways before we even knew where we were headed.
Right.
And they finally told us Attu. Never heard of Attu before.
Did you have any winter clothes?
Well, before we embarked on the ship, they took our big wool overcoats away from us, and we were all saying, uh-oh, South Pacific. But then they issued us those little two-piece Parker. They call them Parkers.
Right.
They was white. You could reverse them, so when you was in the snow, you wouldn't be identified as a person, I guess.
Yeah.
And that's about all of the. I think I did issue us some boots that I don't remember now what they call, shoe packs or something.
Shoe packs, yeah. So they did issue those.
Yeah.
Because they didn't have very many of them. And so that was one of the reasons why they said they weren't issuing them for the Aleutian campaign.
Yeah, and that was the downfall of a lot of the infantry too.
Yes, it
Get
was.
frozen feet.
That's right.
Everything.
Yep. So, real foggy the morning you hit the beach?
Yeah, it was foggy. We, well, when we first landed there, the 10th, they had to wait several hours for fog to get to where they could even, find the beach.
Yeah, they had problems. They lost a destroyer.
Yeah.
Went into the rocks.
Yeah. Cause I didn't know about that because I was already on shore, I guess,
Probably.
when that happened.
Mm-hmm.
But we landed. Our heavy equipment was all marring down in the muskeg. That muskeg was, I don't know, 6 to 7 foot deep. It was all over the Massacre Valley, and it was caused, they say, by vegetation decaying over years and years and years, and there was no solid earth in with it, and it was just like a jelly-like.
It's like a bog.
Yeah, and so some of our equipment got marred down, our bulldozers, and we had, as they called Athy trailers, that had a track on them instead of tires and wheels. They had a track like a Caterpillar.
Uh-huh.
And but they were no good if your cat got marred down trying to tow them.
So you did a lot of human chains and manpower lifting,
Yeah.
daisy chains, so to speak.
They finally discovered there was a little stream that ran down through Massacre Valley. That was our roadway, because there was no muskeg on it, so the water was shallow, just little thawing from the snow, I guess, from up on the mountain. But they used that as a roadway to take supplies up.
So what was a normal day like for you out there?
There wasn't anything normal about it, I don't think. Oh, well, we had it fairly well. I mean, our outfit did, because the infantry, they were suffering terrible from frostbite and all such as that up on the mountains, because it wasn't that bad down in the valley, because it's fogged in. And
So that's where you were, in the valley?
I was in the Massacre Valley, and for I don't recall how long we stayed there till we moved up, and we was bivouacking on the south side of, no, I guess it was on the north side of Engineer Hill.
Okay.
And on May the 29th is when the Japs broke through the infantry line and attacked us. And we had, we're building a road across Engineer Hill, and the berm that they had pushed up, we got behind it for some protection. And my first sergeant, it was just before dawn when the Japs attacked us, and he was running up and down trying to get everybody out of their pup tents, because we hadn't gotten up yet. And of course he got shot and killed. If it hadn't been for him, it would have been a lot worse.
Right.
He was a hero in my book. He gave his life trying to save ours.
Save yours, yep. So did you always have your, excuse me, did you always have your M1 Garand with you?
Yeah, I always had it with me.
Now, you didn't have any sidearms, did you?
Nothing but the M1 and a belt of ammunition.
Okay. So your duties were doing what? As a corporal, a T5, a corporal, what?
Well, at that time, I was just a private.
Okay.
I didn't become a corporal till later on in the war. And so our duties was, well, whatever engineers do, I reckon. We pick and shovel a lot of times and whatever, digging foxholes and stuff, but I don't recall much of our duty until the invasion by the Japs of our area.
Yeah. So you were actually in your pup tent when he came down and got everybody up?
Yeah, I was in my pup tent, me and my buddy. Of course, it's always two together. You had a half of a tent.
Half, yep.
And we both got out and got up there on behind the berm, but I had two friends that was too slow to get out, and they both got bayoneted in their pup tents. One of them was a guy from Prattville, Alabama. He couldn't read and write too well, so I wrote a lot of his letters to his wife. Ruby was her name, Ruby White. And I read them when he'd get mail from her. I would read them to him. It was sad to see them both bayoneted in their tent like that. Of course, they wasn't the only one. The Japs had bayoneted a lot of the medics.
Of the wounded, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Bob Jones, the guy who was so opposed to the peace memorial that's out there on Attu on Engineer Hill.
Yeah.
I couldn't figure out his vehemence about all this until I did some research on him. He was one of the guys who was in the tent. He was wounded. He was in the tent.
Yeah.
And the Japanese came through and bayoneted all those casualties.
Yeah.
And so they missed his tent because they pulled the guys in the tent, put two dead bodies at the front of the tent, and he survived. So
Well, we didn't have any dead bodies to put in front of ours at that time.
at that time, yep. So they almost broke through, the Japanese.
Yeah, I think they was trying to break through to get to our heavy artillery and turn it on us, but they never made it.
And to get food.
Yeah, they were out of food,
They were starving.
out of ammunition and out of food. Of course, they all had a hand grenade. They carried for Harry-Carry, they called it, which was suicide. And it was a mess when after it was over, to see bodies laying with no head, and some of them would hold their hand grenade to their hearts and blow that up, and it was carnage.
Then were the engineers responsible for using the bulldozers to make common graves?
Well, not at that time. They was building the road across Engineer Hill, but I know one bulldozer that was close to where I was at had got shot and bursted the water system in the bulldozer, and it was disabled.
Yep.
And they used the bulldozers to dig trenches to bury the dead Japs in. I recall one little sign that they stuck up where it said 59 dead Japs buried here. And of course there was more at other places, but that was next to us.
So that was the 29th of May. What was the morning of the 30th like?
Clean up mostly, I guess. I don't think most of them was buried till the next day, the 30th.
Then did the engineers have anything to do with building Little Falls Cemetery and the Japanese cemetery out there?
Not that I recall. I don't know. One of the cemeteries was in Massacre Valley, and the other one was over on, was it Holtz Bay?
Holtz Bay.
Holtz Bay, yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't recall. In other words, I wasn't involved. If there was, I wasn't involved in the cemeteries.
Now, were all the troops gathered when those cemeteries were dedicated later on? Were all the troops gathered for that?
Not that I recall. I don't recall that.
Because we have pictures in the exhibit of the dedication, and there's bunches of troops out there.
Yeah.
Of course, that may have been all infantry.
Yeah, possible.
So did you finish the road on Engineer Hill?
I don't recall anything about the road except what they had got done when the Japs attacked. But soon after that, our platoon was sent over on the northwest side of the island at a place they call Cresta Point to build a radar station.
Oh.
So our platoon, we went over on a little landing boat, and the water was not all that rough at the time we landed on Cresta Point.
That's unusual.
But it got rough after that, and we couldn't get supplies in because we had K rations and C rations.
Okay, what's the difference?
Well, C rations was more of a meal than the little K ration was. The little K rations came in a little package.
Okay.
They had a little can of canned meat and some wafer-like crackers and stuff in it, and also a little can of heat.
Okay, to warm it up.
Canned heat.
Good old sterno.
Yeah.
So was that always in your backpack? In case you were stranded and couldn't get rations?
Oh yeah, yeah. We carried that. Well, we didn't carry too much of it, but maybe a few meals. But
Now, did you get hot food?
not then. We got hot food after we had gone to Cresta Point to build the radar site over there. We carried our cooks, of course, and everything with us, and of course they had canned stuff that we had went as their supplies, and that's what we ate. We didn't have any fresh meat or anything for a long time. Finally, several days. This little old Cub plane, I don't know how it got there, but anyway, it dropped us a box of beef. It fell in the sand and bursted open.
Oh.
So we washed it in a little stream to get the sand out of it. You still get a little grit in your craw every once in a while, but then we discovered that these little streams that run just a short ways from our bivouac area, and we could toss a concussion aid into the stream and have fresh fish.
Yay!
Only we had to cook it in Army preserved butter. It didn't have oil and stuff like that. But it was a good switch from the sea rations.
Yeah, that's a fact. So how long were you over on the northwest side?
I guess I'd say probably, I'm guessing at that about 6 weeks.
6 weeks, okay.
Yeah, I'm thinking. And we couldn't get back after they finished the radar site. The water was so rough they couldn't get the little landing boats in to take us back to the mainland. I mean to Massacre Bay or wherever. So our commander decided we'd just hike out.
Oh.
And it was about, I guess, I think that island is 35
By 22.
12.
By 22.
Something like that.
Yeah.
And anyway, we hiked all day long, and we came to a stream that was flooded, and there was a rubber life raft there, a little rubber boat thing. I don't know if that was from the Japanese, but I assume it was from the loots that was there before the Japs landed. And also they had some canned supplies stored there. And I know one was a boy from Muscadine, Alabama. He had a gallon can of canned peaches.
Oh, wow.
He ate the whole can of peach halves and drank some of the juice. I don't know how. But anyway, we all got across. It took a while. It's like one man across at the time and come back and get another man and take him across. It took us a good while to cross that stream, which it really wasn't all that wide, maybe I'd say 60 foot wide or something or other. And of course it was flooded, we couldn't get across except by the boat, little raft.
So then you got back to Massacre Bay.
Yeah.
About when would that be?
Well, I'm assuming it would be probably
June something.
June or maybe 1st of July. I don't recall really. Anyway, they were building their sites for our Quonset huts, and I didn't participate in that anything. I don't know who was leveling the ground and everything, but they had a crew that's good. Probably some of the Seabees, I think, maybe. I don't know.
Now, who built the docks that are out at Attu? Did the Army build those, or was that when the Seabees came in?
I think it was from the Seabees. I'm just guessing. I don't know for sure.
That's kind of what I suspect, but I don't know either.
Yeah.
So you get back to Massacre Bay, and then you're doing things for setting up Quonset huts and Army Town and Navy Town and all the rest of that. Yeah.
Yeah, and back to road building and such as that.
Did you build bridges too? Some little streams?
I don't recall any bridges that we built, but they wasn't. Most of the little streams wasn't wide, you know. They're just snow melting and trickling down. I know one place. This was before May the 29th. Close to our mess tent, there was a little stream that coming off of the mountain, and they had got a large pipe, I guess a 4-inch pipe, and run it up the stream a little ways, and it was raised up so you could catch water, you know, from it. Well, me and another guy was sort of curious, so we wanted to walk up that stream a little ways, and behold, there was a dead Japa laying in the stream.
Ew.
So we've been drinking water off of him. No wonder we hadn't been speaking Japanese.
Yeah, it is a wonder. So then end of June, first part of July, you left Attu?
No, well,
Or were you there longer?
what happened to me, we was building roads. I was driving a road machine. They call it a carry-all or carry-mower or something.
Okay.
No windshield on it. And I got my eye infected.
Ooh.
And on the 29th of June, I was evacuated back, supposed to have been to either the States or Anchorage. But we landed the plane, and we were a little old C-47. It was converted to a troop ship, which the seats was a big bench on each side with scalloped out, looked like dishpan that you sit in. The bathroom facilities was a hose and a funnel.
Yeah, there you go. It worked, right?
Yeah. So I was taken off the plane at ADAC. The physician there took us all off and examined us, and he decided that I had already spent, I guess, 2 or 3 weeks in the field hospital on ADAC, and he thought he could treat my eye without me having to go being evacuated further. But I stayed there, I believe, close to 6 weeks. I took, that was my first encounter with penicillin,
Ew.
which was useless because it was a virus actually that was.
Right, and penicillin doesn't affect virus.
Penicillin didn't happen, and I took 36 shots.
Oh, Lord.
Every 4 hours for I don't know how long.
They just wanted you to be a pincushion.
Yeah. I remember the poor little old nurse. She said, "I hate to do this to you as bad as you hate to get it." I didn't much believe it.
Yeah, funny thing about that.
But anyway, they finally decided that they'd send me on to Anchorage here.
Okay.
So I stayed probably, I guess, 4 or 5 weeks here in Anchorage at the little hospital out there on Elmador Field.
Okay.
And finally my eye got cleared up enough. They gave me a choice. I could be evacuated on back to the States or go back to my unit.
Well.
So I chose to go back to my unit because I didn't want to take a chance of being shipped to the South Pacific or something if I went back to the States. So when they shipped me down to Seward on that little old narrow gauge train that run from Anchorage down to Seward.
Okay.
And what I remember most about it went down in a valley like, and it needed to turn up another valley. Well, they didn't have room to do that, so it made a circle and come back, a complete circle, and went back over its own track. And finally I got to Seward. I stayed there working some, driving a truck, hauling coal and stuff. I don't know, they had deposited coal a good ways from the camp up there, and we had to haul it back close to the camp. I don't know why it was so far off, but it was the Army.
Yeah.
And finally I got to ride that little freight and shuttle boat back to Attu, and that was something to remember. All that rough sea up there in the North Pacific. Ooh.
Yep.
And I was sick all the way back.
All the way again, huh?
Yeah. That little old boat would dip water on one side and pour it off on the other.
The other side.
I was thinking it was going to sink.
Yep.
Finally, we got back to Attu, and they was packing up, getting ready to be shipped back to the States when I got there. So that was, I guess, along about, I would say October, November. I can't recall any dates much, but we boarded the ship, headed back to the States. I had got me a Japanese .25 caliber rifle. I wanted it as a souvenir, but they put out the tale that you couldn't take any firearms back. But when I got down on the dock to load our stuff on the ship, barrels are sticking out of every.
Yeah, funny thing.
And I done sold mine to a sailor for $15.
Oh.
There's another little thing about the blue fox or silver fox. I believe it was the silver fox that was on that too. It might have been the blue
They
fox.
said blue, yeah.
Anyway, one our bulldozer, one of them had tamed a little pup, and he had that thing. It'd follow him around like a
dog.
little dog, you know. And he'd be driving his bulldozer, and that little fox was sitting on the side of the seat with him. He sold it to some guy, and it finally came back to him, and it liked him, I reckon.
There you go.
I think he sold it either 2 or 3 times.
It still comes back.
He was making money up. But one other incident on Thanksgiving Day in 1943, I guess it was, they finally got some turkey up. So they served us turkey on Thanksgiving supper, and the whole company got dysentery
From that?
from eating turkey. It was spoiled.
Oh.
Well, we had a 8-hole latrine for 200 men,
Whoa.
and we had yellow snow all around.
Funny thing about that.
Oh, yeah.
So you shipped back to the States.
Yeah.
Then where'd you go?
We went to, let me think a minute. I can't even remember the name of the camp. Fort Riley, Kansas. Only it was sort of a suburb of Fort Riley they called Camp Funston.
Yeah.
And that's where we stayed. Finally, they wanted us to go down to Louisiana, Fort Polk, Louisiana, to test our equipment about getting them ready to invade the rice fields in Japan. So they bolted a 4-foot section of a 4x4 on the tracks on each side, which made them, Lord, about 16 foot wide altogether, I guess. Mm-hmm. We drove it through the swamps down there and at close to Fort Polk, Louisiana, just to test them to see how they would, survive the rice fields and stuff. But then we went back to Camp Gruber, Oklahoma. Camp Gruber, Oklahoma. That was about 20-something miles south of Muskogee, I think, at a little town they called Braggs, Oklahoma, was where the little camp was located. And that's where we left to sail to Seattle. I mean, or drive to.
Yeah, you drove or you got on a train?
Oh, wait a minute, I'm getting that all mixed up. I was discharged from there, from Camp Gruber, Oklahoma. That was after the war was ended.
Okay, so you didn't go to Kwajalein and other places with
No.
the 7th Infantry? Okay.
No, I did not. And I was discharged, and on my discharge, I didn't even see when our 2nd Battalion had been converted to 205 engineers. And of course, the 1st Battalion was left on Attu, and our 2nd Battalion was shipped to Seattle and then all the way down to Camp Gruber. And I was discharged there. Our company was dismantled, and no more 205th or 50th engineers. They sent us over, some of us over to, I think it was a field artillery or signal, something. It's on my record in the courthouse in Russellville, Alabama, but I never could remember I wasn't discharged from the 205th Engineers. It was from a signal company or something. I only stayed there 2 or 3 days and got discharged.
Okay.
There, went back to my home at Haleyville, Alabama, where I live now.
Did you get your dad's farm?
Yeah, my dad had bought a farm out there. I was living at Red Bay, Alabama, which was about, I guess 25 or 30 miles away. My dad had bought this farm, and I had never been in that area, so I got off of the train, or maybe it was a bus, I don't recall. Anyway, I didn't know where to go. So I said I'd go to the post office, and I knew my dad's route and everything, you know. And he started telling me, you go this way and you turn here and you do that. And it didn't make any sense to me because I'd never been there. I said, hold it just a minute. So I went out and got the cab. The driver took him in, and he told him, and he understood it enough to know how to get out there. Well, that was back before much blacktop was in the area. We got stuck on a hill just close to my dad's farm, and I had to tote pine tops and rocks and stuff to get the cab out of the mud. So that was about the end of, and then I helped my dad farm there for part of 2 years, I think. And finally met my wife.
How'd you meet?
At an all-day singing at a church.
Okay.
And I had never met her before. And we sort of hooked up, and we walked down to the well to get a drink of water. Her dad was a singer in the group, and from there we dated for a while till January the 23rd, 1947. We were united in marriage.
There you go.
She was young, about almost 9 years younger than I, of course. And We went to the courthouse to get her marriage license. Of course, her dad had to sign for her because she wasn't of age, what they considered of age. Mm-hmm. And I remember the clerk says, "That girl's too young to get married. It won't last." 71 years later, I'd like to tell her it did.
Stamp of approval.
Yeah. So we farmed for a while. I moved up north for part of 3 years, worked in the auto industry. My first job was at the Zenith Carburetor, and then I worked for Hudson Motor Car Company. I don't know where you ever heard of that or not.
I have.
Also Packard Motor Car Company.
Yep.
And from there I went back to the farm, and we finally built poultry houses. We raised chickens for Marshall Durbin Company. I don't suppose you ever heard of that. They was pretty well scattered around. They had plants in Mississippi and Alabama. But we grew chickens for 33 years, I think. I also got into the hog raising, feeder pigs, they called them. Mm-hmm. We'd raise feeder pigs, take to the sale, and they'd sell them out for people that wanted to feed them out. We were just raising the pigs. And we grew cattle. I had sowed most of my land down where we had been raising cotton and corn, sowed it down into fescue, and we raised cattle.
What type of cattle?
Just mixed breeds.
Mixed.
Yeah.
But beef cattle?
Yeah, beef cattle. My dad, he was sort of in the grade B dairy business. He had a few cows, mm-hmm. and we milked them. I helped milk those, and the truck come by and pick up a 10-gallon can of milk, take it to Decatur to the processing plant. But I farmed I did work part-time as a substitute mail carrier for about 15 years, I guess, or something like that. Of course, I was farming all that time. And I guess you're running out of tape.
Nope. I'm not.
I am.
You're running out of information, eh?
Yeah, just about, I think. We raised 5 kids. My wife, she finished high school after we married. And of course, I finished high school under the GI Bill. I dropped out of school in the 10th grade, and I finished under the GI Bill after I was discharged. And we raised 5 wonderful kids. This is one of them, my daughter here. And I guess she left us.
No, she's there. That's what, I thought she was sleeping for a minute.
We had 3 boys, 2 girls. She was the oldest daughter, and 1 daughter younger than her. And we just lost our oldest son the first day of April of this year.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
He never married. He was a single bachelor all his life, and he was a good Christian boy.
Then he's home.
He's home now.
Yep.
It was hard to give him up. He was my main helper if I needed help doing anything. Right. He lived down the road just a short ways from me. And I could always call him, he'd come help me. We had 5 kids, 5 grandkids, 8 great-grandkids, 2 great-great grandkids.
Good Lordy Almighty.
We had a room full when a house full when we'd all get together for Christmas and Thanksgiving and such
This is
as that.
true. Yeah, but that's the best thing in the world.
Yeah. But most of it's history from there on. There's nothing worthwhile, I guess, except surviving. Today I'm 95 and a half, plus from the 7th of May to now.
Today. Plus 11 days. Do you ever keep in touch with any of your old buddies?
No, I never did, except the 2 or 3 that we already mentioned. I had all of their addresses of the company, whole company, and I had them stored in an old house, the first house that me and my dad built. It was on his property, and we raised our family mostly in it. And they wanted to build a road through there, and the house was in the way, so they moved it down across the road a little ways. And we finally decided to burn it, and all those addresses and stuff was in the old house, and we burned, so they were all burned up.
Oops.
Yeah.
We always end these conversations by asking you a thinking question. So I'll ask the question, then I'm going to turn the camera off for you to formulate a reply, and then we'll turn it back on. Okay?
All right.
If you had one message to leave to future generations, what would it be? And we've had every answer in the book. This is your personal answer.
Yeah. Always be truthful to yourself and other people around you. Serve God and country. And always make the best of every situation that you can. And live a clean, happy life. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. We would like to thank you for this interview, and thank you most of all for serving our country, and particularly at Attu.
Thank you, Sue Ellen.
You're welcome.
A small postscript to this video. The Aleut rubber vessel or raft he's describing uh, could be either a badarka, like a sea kayak, which I don't think he would say that, but I could be wrong, or more likely an open skin boat. They're often referred to as a woman's boat, according to my wife. She's an Aleut from Atka, and they were used at fish camps as well. And some of the stuff he describes sounds like stuff from a fish camp. And it's made of sea hide, made from hide from a sea lion or a seal. And if it's wet and dark, it might look like rubber to someone who doesn't know what it is. So that's a possibility. That's it could be anything, but that's potentially what it could be. All right. Thank you for watching. And if you enjoy it, please give us a like or a comment below. Thanks. Goodbye.